read it, my darling. Read it.
Shogbamimu.
Okay. So this is terrible.
I know,
especially
it's terrible.
for presenting.
It's not easy,
Shola. Give her a break.
No. Go back and start again.
Right,
Just
okay,
read
Shola.
it. Yeah.
If there's anything I loved about listening to Dr. Shola correct that British presenter on how she needed to pronounce her name correctly, if there is anything I love about that, is the fact that she insisted on making sure that this presenter got it right. And I've seen a lot of people react to the video I share and like, oh, she was rude, it was unnecessary. No, it's not unnecessary. This is one of the things that has made us stay behind for the longest time. Black people, white people, whatever color people need to understand that the Black man has been intimidated for the longest time. And it's okay for us to wear our crown, call ourselves kings and queens, and tell people to call us royalty and to address us as royalty. There was nothing wrong with Dr. Shola telling her to pronounce her name properly. I mean, we can pronounce English names properly because we put in the effort. So if we could put in the effort with or without colonization, we also want the same treatment done, and there is nothing wrong with that. I don't know, but I've seen people address this and say, hey, she was rude, it was unnecessary. What do you seriously think? Do you think that people like that should not be cajoled? I feel like this pop culture of celebrating people even when they're not doing what, like when people are not taking corrections, you know, there's this concept of pampering people even when they're not getting it right. And I felt like her being insistent, and she did that with some type of love.
So apparently some media channels and lots of people have been dragging Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu over the whole interview where she needed to correct, this beautiful British presenter known as Down Nisom, the Jeremiah Vines presenter. And, one of the things that caught my attention was the headline where they literally called or tagged Dr. Shola as Markley Megan's fan. It's quite funny, but if you don't know the story as to why Dr. Shola is being dragged as a Megan's fan, I'm just going to play a very short clip that would help you understand the trend of the conversation and why Dr. Shola had a heated conversation with Piers Morgan on TV and on set. And then, of course, we can continue the conversation. Just take your time and listen up closely so you don't miss a thing.
Concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
There is a conversation. Hold up.
There are several conversations.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
Potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
Ooh. And you're not going to tell me who had the conversation?
I think that would be very damaging to them.
I'm sickened by what I've just had to watch.
Okay, so in case you don't know who Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu is, listen up to this heated conversation she had, talking about the things that affect Black people generally. And I will be back to explain more. Stay tuned, guys. Let's watch this together.
Listen, you might learn something. The royal family as an institution is rooted in colonialism, white supremacy, and racism. The legacy's right there.
And that's on period. Like, we all know what this whole BS is. And I'm super proud that people like Dr. Shola exist to call the BS out. Guys, I don't know, but at this point, I think we ultimately need to start maybe catching the fire, getting the vibe from some of those phenomenal people who speak the truth of Black people, because we need to be able to challenge the status quo. We shouldn't be left to keep kneeling and bowing when we should be standing with our head raised up. So let me know what you think about this phenomenal woman. She is on my spotlight today, and I just felt like throwing all the salute to her. Now, the person you just heard about is no other person but Mrs. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu. And she is an author, the author of Why I Resist. This is Why I Resist. I mean, that's a great book. I don't know, but there are so many types of books I think we should start reading. You should read books written by Black people. She is a lawyer, she's an activist, and you can see right there that she is one of those people that is really out there preaching Black excellence. Who do you think we should be talking about next on this page? You guys know this is Personality Highlights with Julie Uche, and I always make sure that I talk about this type of conversations. We should be having this type of conversation. You all know social issues. And of course, real time stories are some of the things that I talk about here. And I want to make sure that I help some people, break this myth of being part of the pop culture. I'm going to see you again in my space. I love to talk about pop culture, politics, and a little deep conversation. It's all about building a conscious community for Black excellence. And if you love this, don't forget to follow, and I'll see you guys on my next one. For now, bye bye, and don't forget to subscribe and keep following.